My music is as popular as ever, not only sung in churches around the world, it's featured in TV commercials and films, sampled by pop artists, and played in clubs across 6 continents. The world watched on TV as London's Kingdom Choir sang at Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's royal wedding, and the USA's Brooklyn Tabernacle Choir lifted their voices during Barack Obama's second inauguration ceremony. The late Edwin Hawkins was the visionary of the annual US-based music and art seminar birthed in 1979, and the award-winning choirmaster Donald Lawrence is reviving this as a biannual conference called Music and Art Global. It gives me great pleasure to welcome Donald Lawrence to the Gospel Zone. Welcome, Donald.
How are you, my friend?
I'm honored to talk with you. It's so good to actually be meeting you, and
Likewise.
a pleasure to have you here on the Gospel Zone.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that so much.
Now I'm looking at various descriptions of you. You're the music director, the vocal coach, the producer. The list goes on. I was going to say, is there anything that you don't do?
Oh, there are things that I don't do, but when it comes to like probably artistic things, I'm always involved in that. So yeah, thank you. I'm really a creative at heart. All fibers of me are
Yeah.
creative.
And so, if anybody was to ask Donald, who or how would you best describe yourself?
Oh man, I would say I best describe myself as an artistic expressionist. I'm a creative soul, so I would say an artistic expressionist. I express myself through my art, the gift of art that God gave me.
And one thing is definitely being a creative. There are so many strands to that. I suppose
Yes.
some people say about when the sky is the limit. I suppose for you, there's no limit to what you can do creatively.
Well, I ain't gonna say that there's no limit because I don't play everything or something, but I do think that the things that I do, I try to maximize them and go beyond what is guesstimated to be done with those things. So I am a songwriter, I'm a producer, I'm a theater guy, I'm a writer. So, all of those things when it comes to all things creative, when it comes to music, I would say in theater and maybe even some television and some film, I want to just expand and do as much of that as I can.
Yeah, without a doubt. And we've seen you over the years how you, as an incredibly gifted artist, you've been a great example to so many. And one of the what's the word I'm looking for? One of the observations that I've seen over the years is that whatever you do, you always have a spirit of excellence about it, whether one you give yourself or also one that you expect from others. Would that be fair?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we should always do our best, give our best. So yeah, I do. I'm I hate to say this, but I might be a little bit of a perfectionist. I'm a little obsessed with things being correct and right. I love for things to be done right, as well as we can do them with what we have. So yeah, I make no apologies for just wanting it to be right. I think that anything that we do for the kingdom specifically should be done as best as we can do it. So I never apologize for just wanting it to be right and to be top notch.
Absolutely. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to get to the position of having been nominated and awarded 18 Grammy nominations and awards for no reason at all. So that in itself is a great accolade. How does that make you feel?
That makes me feel really, really, really good. You grow up dreaming about those things. And I mean, as you get a little bit older, you don't focus on them as much. So I don't focus on them as much, but to be nominated for 18 and to win two, that's great. I would have loved to win all 18 of them, but just to be acknowledged that pretty much every album I put out probably since the 90s or early 2000s have been nominated for a Grammy, not just me, but even other projects that I've worked on. So I'm really, really honored that they at least see the work and see that I'm trying to put my best foot forward, and I'm trying to make sure that it represents gospel music, not just as kingdom music and spiritual music, but as an art form as well. I think we forget that those of us who do gospel music, we put in the time just like anybody else. You know, most of us been in church all our lives, and we were in rehearsals when everybody else was getting to do every other thing. And so one of the reasons why we are good at what we do is because we put the same kind of time in that Beyonce put in dance class, that Michael Jackson put in. We put the same time in choir and studying and hearing parts and writing and learning our resonance as well. So you know, I'm really one of those people who wants people to always acknowledge that gospel music is also a discipline and an art form, and that the church is a very non-accredited conservatory. It's an intensive that has taught and really delivered the best singers on the planet. Most of the greatest singers that you know either came from the church or were influenced by somebody who came from the church. So it's always kind of not credited the way it should be.
It's an incredible training ground for so many people, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, without a doubt. Now, you're no stranger to Europe. You've come to Europe over the years. You've worked with some choirs. You've been involved in some incredibly big audiences as well. What is it about Europe? And I know you're coming to the UK, and we'll get onto that soon. What is it about Europe that you love so much?
I love Europe. I love that they're still very much about the artistic expression of art. They're not so commercialized, where music business is really music business in America. Europe just loves the art. They love the art of things, and they love the art of gospel music.
Yeah.
It's not just a religious experience for them. They love the craft. They love the way we tell the story, the way we use our voices, the way the musicians play. They enjoy that. So they remind me too that gospel music is also an art form. It's a study, and they really study it. So I enjoy that. But I also love being able to speak my music universally to all languages, to show them how I deliver my art. So when I come to Europe, or when I, you know, or any part of Europe, whether it's Sweden, whether it's Latvia, whether it's Spain, you know, I'm able to show them how I approach my art, and they really dig it and get into it, and it's a beautiful thing. And we've become great friends over like the last maybe 5 to 7 years for sure. That I love them, and I'm so glad that I'm getting to come there, and they're all meeting me in London actually. So I'm really glad that we're getting to do that again. I miss them because the pandemic kind of separated all of us for a minute. Although we did talk a lot online, we did text each other and WhatsApp each other, but it'll be good to see everybody in person after kind of a 3 to 4 year hiatus.
Yeah, indeed. Now, the Music and Art Seminar never ever left the US.
No.
There was intention, but it never actually happened. So this is actually quite groundbreaking for you to be bringing, now named the Music and Arts
Global
Music and Arts Global, to the UK.
It is. I didn't know that when I decided to do this. It was just me trying to figure out what I would do with it moving forward. Edwin requested this. I actually saw Edwin before he transitioned, and maybe about 4 days, and he made me look in. It was very emotional, but he made me look him in the eye and say, he looked at me and said, "Donald, promise me you will move music and arts forward." And I said, "Edward, I will do my best." So that's really what I'm doing. But I never knew that it was his desire to launch it outside of the US. I happened to see a particular interview, read of an interview back in the day, maybe like in the 80s, where he mentioned it. I never knew. But after I thought about it, I decided I wanted to take it where I thought people enjoyed the art of gospel music, and I had developed such a really beautiful network over there that I thought they would enjoy it, and it would just give it a facelift and just a freshness. And again, I enjoy coming to Europe and doing music there. I love the people, and I love the culture. I love the fashion. I love a lot about coming to Europe. So I thought it would be really good. It's a big venture, because I don't even really do a lot of events here. I'm on a lot of events, but as far as me promoting them and doing, I don't even do that here. So to do it in another country and learn all the different rules and all the different things, and get all these people from not just the UK, but you know, I have a choir coming from Sweden, I have choir coming from Switzerland, I have choir coming from Denmark, I have choir coming from Latvia, I have choir coming from Madrid, I have choirs come from Ireland. So it's Italy. So just bringing them all into not even their own country, but I'm not from there as well. So it's really been an undertaking. It's a learning curve, but it's going good. I got a great team here and there. And I think that we're starting something beautiful, and I hope to see it move forward. And I want to just really keep it in Europe, at least for a while.
Music and Arts Global, it sounds like it's going to be an incredible time. So what can we expect to kind of see and to feel from the seminar?
Well, I gave it I would say a tagline. Music and Arts Global is inspiring the next generation of choir creatives. So it's really all things choir. I want people to come and be inspired to go back to their choirs, do things. They'll get new music, of course, and they'll get to understand my approach to vocals, but some of the guests that I'm bringing in, their approach to vocals, stories behind the songs. One big thing would just be a social networking of choirs, really so that people can just know each other, and whether I'm here or not, with them, they can kind of go to each other, maybe visit each other, just create this social networking of choirs, but also coming together and singing together. I think there's nothing like that, even if we don't even speak the same language, come together, the love with that, just to really give them what I call like a gospel music experience. And then also a lot of them sometimes want that American gospel music experience. So we'll give them a little bit of that as well. But I also want them to know that it doesn't just exist in gospel in America, it exists in everywhere. So I want it to be a global gospel music experience. And I think that that's what the whole thing is about. So it starts on a Thursday evening, and it's really, I call it a big choir rehearsal, because every session is a choir rehearsal, but we do talk about different things in it, whether it's new technology for miking your choir, whether it's blend and phonetics, whether it's this song, here's the writer. One song that a lot of people are singing around the world is a song called Revelations 19:1, and it was made really popular by Kanye and Sunday Service, but also Maverick City. Well, that song for us is old. It came out kind of in the 80s, and I'm bringing the original writer. He's an incredible musician by the name of Jeffrey LaValle, who wrote that song.
Oh,
so he's going to come and teach that, so that way they really get to get that from the guy that wrote it. So is that Anthony Brown is coming. I'm bringing like what I call an all-star band, Cedric Thompson, Grammy winner, Derek Hall, who is Edwin's musical director, Calvin Rogers, Maurice Fitzgerald on bass, Joey Woolfolk. They're just guys that I've known for a while. Now they were younger. Now we call them the vets. We call them. I'm not even bringing my band. I decided to bring the vets because I thought everybody would love get to speak to them in their journey. So it's that, and it's really coming together. Friday night, I decided to do something that's really different. I know that Europe doesn't have they don't have musicals, especially not like in Spain or like in Latvia. They might have them in the UK, but they don't have them in Madrid. So I decided to put together what I call a musical, and it will be all the choirs that's coming in. They're going to get to sing. They're going to do 2 songs, so that way they get to sing to each other, and of course the local London community. So I thought that would be really good and give them an experience they rarely get. So that's going to be, it's like a choir showcase on that Friday night, and then Saturday back in rehearsals, and Saturday night all of us come together. We're going to do an unplugged, kind of like a rehearsal concert, where everything we're working on throughout the week we will do in front of a live audience. It's kind of unplugged, so it's not so polished, but it is going to be a good time just to really celebrate singing together in gospel music.
Yeah, that sounds like it's going to be an absolutely incredible few days as well. So really
Thank you.
Look forward to that. And who would you say that the event is going to be aimed at? Who would you like to see there?
I would like to see everybody there, all genres, all cultures, because it's music. It's not just gospel music, it's music. I definitely, of course, I have a unique pedigree because I studied musical theater. I also studied gospel, of course. I started off doing urban music and R&B. So my palette is kind of wide when it comes to doing mainstream gospel as well as musical theater. So it's for everybody. It's really just a vibration lifter. We want everybody to come and leave just feeling better. Hopefully it's an escape for them for a minute to just not think about anything but come and enjoy great gospel music, but also the spirit of God, also the spirit of love, just healing, because music just does so much. It does something that we can't even explain sometimes. So it's for everybody to just come and enjoy about 2 hours of singing and gospel music, and also just to see all these different nationalities all together singing one particular message, and that message is love.
Absolutely. I'm thinking now, if I read it right, this year is 30 years since your album with Tri-City Singers. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, March 9th, 1993 was when we first released A Songwriter's Point of View. So this year is 30 years.
Wow.
I consider that although I was doing a few things earlier than that, I consider that my timestamp of being in the business, because that's when I stepped out as Donald Lawrence and people got to know me. So I consider it 30 years in the business for me. Yeah.
Congratulations to you. It's
Thank
incredible. I mean, I'm reflecting back, having bought the album back 30 years ago.
30 years ago. Yeah. It was just, it was just me having an idea and trying something that I felt. I didn't realize that it was going to be groundbreaking. I didn't realize it was going to set the tone for like the next decade or 2 decades of how we approached gospel music, especially choir music. I was just doing what I felt. And I feel like music is a place where you've lived. So when we did that album, it was really all of the things that influenced me. It was New Jack, because I was doing urban music. It was my Pentecostal background. It was my musical theater background, all blended into that one particular album. So yeah, it was quite groundbreaking.
So whilst I remember when you started out in music, so I've got a flashback now of a group you were in.
Yeah,
with a group of guys.
it was a group of guys. They were called Company.
Company.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
the one. That's the one.
Absolutely. That album came out after Tri-City, though. It came after. That was with Giant Records, Irving Azoff and Cassandra Mills. We have those guys, not all of them, but about 3 or 4 of them were out on the road with me when I was with Stephanie Mills. We were her backing vocals. I was her musical director. They were out, and people would hear us sing out on her shows. And so eventually that we got a record deal. And that was also too, it woke up the producer in me. I never really planned on being a producer, but people loved her live shows, that a lot of executives would say, you really have the potential to be a producer. And I started, fleshing that out a little bit. Me and one of the guys in the group, a guy by the name of Rodney Barber, who was in the group, we kind of just started working together and started creating a little bit together. And I always wrote. I was always writing songs. I didn't know what I was going to do with them. I just write them and teach them if I could, or some of my friends would hear them and teach them when I was out on the road to their choirs and stuff. So yeah, that was where it started. And those are guys that I'm still close with. They're from my hometown in North Carolina. Gastonia, North Carolina, where I grew up. So yeah, we're still like brothers. We still catch up with each other. And sometimes when I come home on holidays, we all just kind of meet up for brunch and just chat and just talk about old times.
Yeah, that's fabulous. I love to hear those stories. That's really, really good. So if you were to kind of give an idea of what it takes to make it and be, I suppose, have longevity in the industry, what advice would you give to a young artist coming through, whether it's as an individual, a group, a choir?
You have to really know that this is for you. Like I feel like the people tell you to have B plans, but if there is something that you call to do, there is no B plan. This is it. So for me, there was no B plan for me. I just knew this is what I needed to do. This is my oxygen. This is what I was born to do. It's just part of the fabric of who I am. So I really believe that if you're supposed to do this, you have to be focused and embedded on it and committed to it like that. And you have to ride the highs and the lows, because it has not been easy. It still isn't. I still get no's. I still have to get some things, and then you have to be able to do that. It might mean you can't do what everybody else is doing at the start. You know, when my friends, when I first off, they were all buying cars and stuff like that. I was taking my money and investing in demos and catching a ride with people. So it's a sacrifice, but you know, I'm glad that the investment kind of paid off for me, and it's still paying off. And I'm looking to do more things. So I would just tell them, be committed. You'll get no sometimes, but that doesn't mean that it's not for you. It just means that there's another door. Don't let a no discourage you. Don't let a bad performance discourage you. Don't let it looks like everybody's getting ahead and you're not, discourage you. There's a specific journey for you. And when you find it, just stay focused on it. I always think that you know, comparison kills. So don't compare yourself to anyone else. Just think about your journey and keep on making sure that you're moving forward on your journey. That will keep you here. It will give you longevity. And I also find that longevity happens when you're not dictated by mediocrity, meaning that you don't look at what's happening and try to do that. You do what you're inspired to do, because sometimes when you do what you're inspired to do, you will come up with something that everybody needed and they didn't know they needed it. And that is what a true artist does. They deliver from an authentic place and they end up bringing us something we didn't even know we needed.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. That's so,
yeah,
that's a word right there. Beautiful, beautiful. I like food. So if you were going to invite me to a dinner party, this is kind of left field now, what would be on the menu?
But I'm not cooking though.
Hey, yeah, nor am I.
I'm not a cook. I am not. So let me just put that out there. I'm not the cook. I can give you a great dinner. I can roll it out for you, but it wouldn't be me cooking. You know, I'm not really a foodie, but I love the experience of dinner. So I do go out a lot. I do meet my friends, and I think a dinner with you would probably be what I would call a seafood dinner. I think that it would have lobster, it would have crab, it would have I would say probably cedar planked salmon, and I would just make sure you had like some type of a size that maybe it's spinach, but it's also some type of a pasta, whether it's an American mac and cheese, because you guys don't have that there. Or it was, I love homemade pasta, like really Italian pasta. So, so like seafood and pasta, I could see you being that kind of dinner would be yours. You know, maybe if you did 2 dinners, a brunch, I will give you the more American soul food kind of thing.
Yeah.
My favorite food though is probably Italian. But if you came here, I would probably like say dinner is seafood and Italian mixed, but brunch is very Southern, what we call upscale Southern brunch, Southern soul food, like upscale soul.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I like to just hear what people think of food and life, really.
Yeah.
So
food for me is an experience. So I like the experience of everybody talking and eating and happy. I'm not really a foodie, but my friends are. They love but I like the experience of it. So I love going to dinner and brunch and on rooftops and all of that. I do that a lot, especially in the summertime here, because Chicago, most people don't know about Chicago, but Chicago is probably one of the most amazing cities in the US. It's right on the water. You get all the buildings, big tall buildings like New York, but it's way cleaner and it's very aesthetic. When we have some of the most amazing rooftops, but we probably have the best restaurants in the country. It's like probably 22,000 restaurants in the metro, and it's just an amazing food experience.
It sounds fantastic. It sounds some place to go when I'm in the US.
Oh yeah, I tell everybody mostly comes to New York, or they'll try to get to LA, but when they come to Chicago, they just go, oh, I missed it. I didn't realize it's an amazing city to me. And I love traveling around the world. Chicago is definitely one of the top cities in the world to me.
Getting back to Music and Arts Global, the website is exactly about musicandartsglobal.com.
Yes.
If people want to find out more, they can go to that website.
Go to their website, yes.
Are tickets available through them, or is it a different one?
Tickets available through Eventbrite, but you can go there and it'll give you a link to Eventbrite. Tickets roll out this way. There's the full package, which is a 3-day package, but then there is the showcase. The showcase is actually free, but you still have to register and get a ticket. And then Saturday night, that is a ticketed concert. So if you just wanted to come to Saturday night, you could go there and just get a Saturday night ticket. You can get a bundle for all 3 days. You can even get a day pass if you want it. So that's all that information is there. There is a musicians masterclass too. It's limited seating and it's registration only as well. Again, Friday night, the showcase, which we are looking for a great time there. It's actually free, but you still have to register for it.
Okay. Okay, it sounds absolutely incredible. I really want to wish you well. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you.
Oh, thank you for having me.
We could talk for ages because I haven't even touched on your bio, but I just thought I'd just give you a little flavor, give a UK a little bit of a flavor of the maestro Donald Lawrence, and no doubt we'll speak again.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for having me. Thank you for supporting music and arts and to the UK. You know, you guys come out. I'm looking forward to seeing you. We love the energy that they give in London, so I'm looking for that to be there on Friday night and on Saturday night. I'm excited about that. And then to all of my friends, of course, I just saw Miss Karen when she was here touring with the Kingdom Choir. It's a great friend of mine. Basil Mead is a great friend of mine. Bonnie Morgan is a great friend of mine. So, you know, I'm in touch with a lot of them. Bishop J. Francis, I actually talked him into coming and directing one of the songs with the choir. Yeah, because it's a song that Thomas Whitfield did with music and arts, and I knew that Tom was really very inspirational to him. So I thought that would be a really nice moment to have him come and direct one of Tom's songs that he wrote. Thomas Whitfield, who is just an icon for us here in America and around the world. So yeah, it's going to be a great thing. And even as we move forward, one of the things that I wanted to do, I wanted to continue to get to be more collaborative. Is not as collaborative as I wanted to the first time because we just got to get it together. But the one thing that I really tell all of my friends is we tend to come there and sing to you, but I want this to be sing together. I didn't want it to just be, I bring a bunch of Americans, we get on stage and we sing to Europe. I wanted Europe singing with me and we're all doing it together. So that's what my heart is, my goal is, and it's really about us coming together. It's not just about us bringing American gospel to you, but it's all of us singing gospel together.